When curiosity got the better of me, I asked my mother about my very beginnings. She shared a tale that transported me back to a vibrant spring, a time when she was not just a beloved pet, but a celebrated beauty across dog shows in Scandinavia and the Baltics. Her fur, meticulously maintained in the prestigious Continental cut, was her crown, complementing her graceful poise and captivating presence. Alongside her owner, she journeyed through cities and countrysides. Her days filled with the thrill of competition, the exploration of new locales, and the making of countless friendships. However, amidst these travels, there came a departure from the routine, a journey that diverged from the glittering path of rosettes and applause. It was a voyage to Norway, marked by the unusual circumstance of air travel at first, continued by car ride that wasn't her owner's. Confined to her crate, she felt a mix of excitement and apprehension, her instincts whispering of a significant change on the horizon. This trip wasn't about showcasing her beauty or adding to her collection of accolades. The timing, coinciding with her heat, meant that dog shows were off-limits. The destination remained shrouded in mystery until they arrived at a place scented by the presence of someone new, a male poodle who was about to play a pivotal role in her life. He was not just any poodle, but a distinguished male of 6 years, boasting a sleek terrier trim and a lineage crowned with countless victories. A Czech native thriving in the Norwegian landscapes, he was a blend of strength, agility, and charm, with a history of siring promising litters. Unlike the competitors my mother was accustomed to, he exuded a confidence that was neither arrogant nor imposing. Instead, there was an allure in his demeanor, a sense of knowing and calm that intrigued her. Their first encounter was unlike the formal introductions common in their world. It was an exchange of playful gestures and chases, a dialogue without words but full of meaning. He was swift, his movements a dance that challenged her to keep up, and she responded with equal enthusiasm. For 2 days, they explored the realms of companionship. As quickly as it began, their time together came to an end, leaving behind a canvas of memories. The return journey was a silent reflection on the part of my mother, a contemplation of the fleeting moments that had just passed. The significance of their meeting became evident 9 weeks later when the world welcomed me and my siblings. Our arrival was a testament to the unseen dance of life, a melody composed in the spring under the watchful skies of Norway. And so, my story began, rooted in the tale of 2 souls brought together by fate, their legacy carried forward in the beats of our hearts. It's a narrative that spans the breadth of emotions, from the anticipation of new connections to the joy of new life. This is the story of how I came to be, set against the backdrop of spring's embrace, starting with a journey, a meeting, and the unspoken promise of tomorrow. In the quiet expanse of a world not yet seen, a tiny heartbeat pulses with the rhythm of new beginnings. There's a softness here, a gentle cradle of existence that envelops me, though I have not yet opened my eyes to behold it. I feel something. I feel warmth. Around me, there's nothing to see, an endless night that stretches in all directions. No light to chase, no shadows to fear. I can't hear anything. No sounds penetrate this serene sanctuary. Yet this silence isn't empty. It's filled with a presence, comforting and omnipresent. I feel warmth and movement. Gentle sways and subtle shifts that stir the calm, a dance of life that I am part of but do not lead. I am inside something, encased in a haven of softness, surrounded by the beat of a heart that's not my own, yet feels intrinsically linked to mine. I don't know what it is and where I am, but I feel safe. This feeling, it's more than just physical warmth. It's a bond, a promise of protection and love. And I feel very, very tired. The sensations, the emotions, they're overwhelming in their newness, inviting me to rest, to grow, to prepare for the journey that awaits. I think I will go back to sleep. Here in the belly of my mother, I am content and I am waiting. Waiting to meet the world, to see, to hear, to run. But for now, sleep calls, and I answer, drifting off in the warmth and safety of the beginning of my story. The days blend into one another, a continuous flow of time marked only by the subtle changes I feel within and around me. The world beyond this warm, enclosing space begins to make itself known, not through sights or sounds, but through vibrations, muffled, distant, yet somehow comforting. They are like whispers of a life waiting, full of unknowns and possibilities. I can't hear voices, not in the way stories later will describe, but I sense them. Vibrations that ebb and flow, sometimes excited, sometimes soothing. What do they mean? My curiosity grows, but understanding remains just beyond my grasp. Yet, there's a more pressing reality I cannot ignore. It feels tight around here. Each day, I feel a bit bigger, stronger, and so do my brothers and sisters. We are a tangle of warmth and comfort, yet increasingly, space is a luxury we're running out of. How strange to feel both boundless in potential and yet confined by my very growth. I don't know how long we can fit here. The thought is both exciting and daunting. The closeness that once brought comfort now whispers of change to come. The world outside calls, though I know not what it holds. Will it embrace us as gently as our current home? Will the warmth and safety that envelop us now follow us into the world beyond? As the moment of our birth slowly approaches, I feel a mix of anticipation and apprehension. The only certainty is change, and with my brothers and sisters beside me, I prepare to meet it head-on. We are ready, or at least as ready as we can be, to venture forth from the only world we've known, guided by the beat of our mother's heart and the vibrations of voices we yearn to understand. The journey that began in darkness and warmth is about to lead us into the light. What awaits us there in the vast unknown? Only time will tell, but together we will discover it. One heartbeat, one breath at a time. Today feels different, like something big is about to happen. Inside our cozy dark home, it's getting really crowded. Moving around is getting harder every day. I sense changes in the air, something new and unknown. My mom hasn't eaten anything today, which is strange. She's pacing around, taking deep, heavy breaths. We're all being jostled about as she moves. It feels like she's getting ready for something big. As hours tick by, my mom starts panting more and more. Then suddenly, there's a slight feeling of space. It's as if something has shifted. I guess one of my siblings must have made their way out into the world. I think it's almost my turn, and I'm feeling pretty sleepy. Maybe I'll just take a quick nap. Waking up, I'm hit by a wave of discomfort. It's my turn, isn't it? I'm being gently pushed in one direction, and it's really tight. It's uncomfortable, and I'm not sure how much more I can handle. But before I know it, the pressure and warmth disappear. I'm hit by a cold that I've never felt before, and the softness is gone. Everything seems to be fading away, and then, out of nowhere, I let out a loud cry. It's the first sound I've ever made, and it feels strange. I'm coughing up fluids, and taking my first breaths is painful and cold. But then something wonderful happens. I feel a warm, gentle touch. It's a bit odd smelling, but it feels safe and familiar. It's my mom, cleaning me and helping me breathe easier. This new feeling, my mom's touch, it's different from what I've known, but it's comforting. Everything around me is a bit scary, but also really exciting. I'm so tired after all that, and now I'm feeling really hungry. My nose picks up an enticing scent, and I instinctively start moving toward it. I've never done this before, but I want to see what it tastes like. Suddenly, I'm drinking the most delicious milk. It feels exactly right, and I want to stay here forever, warm and well-fed. As I drift off, surrounded by warmth, I'm vaguely aware of my brothers and sisters arriving one after another, until there are 7 of us. But amidst the joy, there's a hint of sadness in the air. It seems there was supposed to be 1 more of us, but they're not moving or warm. 10 hours have passed since everything started, and there's a quiet sadness among us. I don't understand what happened to the 8th one of us, but it feels like we've lost something important. Falling asleep, I'm filled with a mix of happiness for our new beginnings and sadness for the sibling we never got to meet. It's a lot to take in for my first day in the world. In this soft, enveloping darkness, where my world is defined by touch and scent, I find comfort in the warmth of my siblings and the gentle heartbeat of my mother close by. The rhythm of life is simple here. Wake, eat, attend to nature's calls, sleep, and grow. It's a monotonous cycle, limited by our blindness and deafness. Yet this simple life is not without its nuances. My nose, for instance, is proving to be quite the explorer, painting vivid pictures in my mind. I've come to recognize the distinct sense of my family, the comforting aroma of my mother, the familiar presence of my siblings. But among these well-known smells lingers a mystery, an unfamiliar scent. It's gentle, unlike the warm, furry beings I'm accustomed to. This presence lifts me into the air, holds me with a tenderness I've started to crave. There's no fur here, just soft, smooth warmth. This being cradles me, showers me with affectionate touches and soft presses against their face, what I assume are kisses. It's an alien sensation, but undeniably soothing. There are two of them I've discerned. Two unique scents, both filled with something I can't quite describe. Care, perhaps? Love? These hands, different from my mother's nurturing embrace, belong to beings I've yet to see or hear. They're my owners, the ones who've chosen me. Their gentle, cautious approach tells me I'm precious to them. They seem to understand the sacred bond I share with my mother, as they visit only briefly, careful not to disrupt our connection too much. Every time they lift me, I can sense my mother's anxiety spike, a sharp, protective fear. Yet, she relaxes when they return me safely to her side. Her trust in them, despite her initial fear, teaches me to trust them too. Surrounded by my siblings, I lie waiting, fueled by a growing impatience to witness the world beyond. To see the faces behind the tender scents, to hear the voices that accompany the gentle hands. I sleep, dream, and grow, nestled in the security of my family, yet quietly yearning for the day when the darkness lifts and the silence breaks. This morning, I woke with a sensation that the world had shifted somehow. And oh, what a revelation. I can see. Well, sort of. It's all quite blurry and overwhelmingly bright, but yes, I can make out shapes and movements. Those dark figures bustling around? They must be my siblings, as confirmed by my trustworthy nose. And my mother, she's a towering presence, far larger than I could have ever imagined with my limited puppy senses. But that's not all. There's this background murmur, a sort of muffled soundtrack to my life that I've never noticed before. I'm hearing things, though it's all quite fuzzy. We seem to be a noisy bunch, all of us yapping in high-pitched unison. It's impossible to discern one voice from another, but the reason for our collective outcry is crystal clear: hunger. We want to eat, and we're not shy about making our demands known. Our mobility skills leave much to be desired. We wobble and sway, but boy, do we make our little corner of the world our playground. We're enclosed by four walls, providing a space that seems vast enough for exploration, yet comfortably safe, as long as I don't stray too far from Mom. The floor beneath us is soft, though admittedly, I'm not a fan of the wet spots. Yes, we're still mastering the art of potty training. Thankfully, our humans are diligent, swapping out our soiled bedding for fresh layers multiple times a day. Speaking of new sights, there are these other beings moving towards me. Two of them, actually, and they're huge, much larger than my mom and tall. They approach and speak to me in a very different tone, chanting, "Puppy, puppy, puppy." I'm not exactly sure what it means, but I look up at them and they pick me up into the air. Ah, so these are the owners. The sensation is familiar and comforting, yet being so high off the ground is an odd experience for me. Although I'm not entirely comfortable with the height, I'm learning to trust these large beings. They seem thrilled to see me today, chatting excitedly to each other and pointing at me with some kind of thin box in their hands. Their happiness is infectious. It makes me feel happy too. After a short while, they gently return me to my siblings. Oh, and speaking of our humans, they introduced us to a peculiar ritual recently, a bath. Unlike the loving licks from our mother, this was a whole new sensation. Water enveloping me, not cold, but strange enough to send me into a panic. I voiced my protest loud and clear, unsure if this was the end for me. But then, just as suddenly, it was over. I was dry, warm, and noticeably less smelly. I must admit, I was growing quite tired of my birth scent. But a bath? Regularly? I'm not sure about that. I'm quite capable of cleaning myself, thank you very much. Or at least my siblings and mom are cleaning me pretty much fine. What else is new in my expanding world? There are these interesting things scattered around. Objects that don't move until I pounce on them and they emit the most amusing squeak. Toys, I believe they're called. Now that's a discovery worth celebrating. I bite, they squeak, and it's the best game ever. Hearing and seeing, I must say, they really are the day's highlights. Truly, this has been the best day ever.